So as I've mentioned before in my supermarket sweep video, after school when I was in middle school, so we're talking early 2000s here, I came home and watched game shows, and Supermarket Sweep was a favorite, but another one that I liked, although this was in 2003, so this is 8th grade going to 9th grade, so high school as well. One of the games that I loved to watch was Lingo.
How many 5-letter words do you know? Let's find out when we play America's favorite word game, Lingo. And here's your host, Chuck Woolery.
Now, Lingo was an original game show from GSN, or the Game Show Network. The show aired in 2002 and was hosted by Chuck Woolery, who may best be known as the original host for Wheel of Fortune, and for being the host of Love Connection. And now, Chuck Woolery, he's kind of a game show staple, but those are probably the two biggest ones that I would say people might know him from. Mr. Woolery was born on March 16th, 1941, in Ashland, Kentucky. After high school, he spent some time in the U.S. Navy. He began his entertainment career as a singer and soon would start appearing on game shows. His first game show appearance was on Tattletale with his wife, Joanne Flug.
I said L. Pecking.
Pecking! So there was one thing, dear man. Yep.
In 1975, he began working as the host for Wheel of Fortune until he was replaced by Pat Sajak. Woolery's last episode on The Wheel of Fortune aired on Christmas Day, 1981. From 1983 to 1994, he hosted Love Connection,
where old-fashioned romance meets modern-day technology, where you hear all the intimate details of a first date.
which was a game show that I never really got into. Actually, if I'm being honest, I never really got into the dating game shows. Even the dating game is pretty boring, I think. I mean, it's better than Love Connection in my opinion, but I don't know. Though the episode with the serial killer, that is an interesting watch, of course. Oh, for those not in the know, there was a serial killer on the dating game in the 70s, and he was the bachelor that won. However, the bachelorette did decide to not go on the date with him because he gave her a weird vibe. Today, Chuck Woolery has a podcast with co-host Mark Young, and their program is called Blunt Force Truth. And this isn't exactly the funnest thing to talk about in a game show video because, these are lighthearted, but I guess we're going to have to touch into politics at least briefly because Blunt Force Truth is a conservative talk show, and Mr. Woolery is very open about his political views. And he's kind of gone into the region of James Wood, conservative Hollywood figure that has gone a little hardcore conservative on their Twitter. I'll be honest, I was never big into Chuck Woolery. His biggest game show was Love Connection, just something I couldn't get into. So I never really got too fond of him. I did watch Lingo, so that's the main reason I did watch some of his stuff. So this one might not be as disappointing as James Woods. Also, Mr. Woolery, actually, you look really good with a beard, Mr. Woolery. Maybe keep that. Dude, whatever I have to say about you, you can rock a beard. But again, with Woods, he is on I can't get hired because I'm conservative. But I'm kind of thinking that maybe it's more because you say shit like this. Okay, well, we're done talking about Mr. Woolery. We'll talk about him in the game show, of course. But I really don't feel like I need to dig any deeper into what he's doing or anything like that. Let's just move on from this subject. Okay, so Lingo debuted in 2002, and the gameplay, there are two teams, and they have to figure out a 5-letter phrase. What they do is they guess several 5-letter phrases at a time, and the puzzle will let them know if there is a letter in the correct spot, or if there is a letter in that word, but in an incorrect spot. It does start off giving a particular letter, and if the team guesses too many times, it then goes over to the other team. After a certain word is guessed, then the winning team goes on to draw some lingo balls, which will fill out this bingo card, getting them more points. Points are awarded from winning rounds and from these bingo sections, or lingo, as they call them. Again, they're mostly for points. But the points, the people with the higher points are the ones that go to the final round. So this episode that I'm watching is from Season 2, and you can find this video on YouTube. In fact, that's where I found this. I will link it down below, and it was filmed in 2003. And now, I gotta comment on the set. This set? I like this set. I mean, it's definitely late 90s, early 2000s, but it's not incredibly gaudy or anything. That's Gawdy. I mean, I think that should have been assumed, but just for, just to be sure, the show starts, Chuck Woolery comes out, and there are the two teams there. Team 1 is Michelle and Kelly.
I'm Michelle from Richmond, Virginia. I'm a cocktail waitress, and this is my fabulous friend. Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm a child care provider.
And Team 2 is Jeannie and Amanda.
Hi, I'm Jeannie. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I'm a stand-up comic. And this is my wonderful friend.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, and I am a makeup artist.
And Amanda is just too peppy for me. I think she's going to get on my nerves. Chuck does then go on to explain the rules.
We start with the first letter of the word. Players take turns making guesses, and our word will contain letters correct and into the right place. The correct answer is worth 25 points. Any time you give us a word that doesn't fit, it's a real word, or you take too long, control passes to the next team, and they have a chance to win those points. Now, the team that correct guess then gets to draw 2 lingo balls. The numbers that correspond to their own lingo board. All you need to do is try to complete a row of numbers, either 5 across, up and down, or diagonal. Each lingo is worth 50 points and a free letter during bonus lingo.
That's how you play the game.
Oh, and apparently, getting a lingo gets you bonus letters during the final round. So that's actually very helpful. Each lingo board does have 10 numbers already crossed off. Nobody's set up for a lingo though. So it starts off with Michelle and Kelly. I'm gonna guess night. Oh, and these two actually agree with me apparently, but there's nothing but the N. This goes on for a small while. They do not get it in the amount of time, so it goes over to the other team, Jeannie and Amanda, and they get an additional letter. However, they cannot figure it out either, so it goes back to Michelle and Kelly, and they figure out that the word is naked. Chuck apparently says that's our group, like, I guess the group that chose the words for this game were horny AF or something? I don't know.
I could have told you the answer to that one when the N came up. I knew exactly where they were going.
But I gotta say, Chuck, I need to watch more Lingo to see if this is true across Lingo or just this episode. But, he doesn't seem interested in being here. He just kind of seems like he's phoning this in. Michelle and Kelly each draw a lingo ball, and they go on to their next round. The starting letter here is a B. I'm going to say the word is booby. B-O-O-B-Y.
B-R-A-V.
Or I guess we could go with brave. Again, they continue on. They do not get it, so it goes over to the other team, who once again do not get it, so it goes back to Michelle and Kelly. They don't have to guess the letters that have been, said to be there. They could do any 5-letter word they want, and that is beneficial because it keeps them in the game, because if they take too long, it switches, but it also will let them know if there are other letters just out of place. But this time it's booze, and apparently, once again, it's this crew that chose the letters. Chuck still doesn't seem all that interested.
I'm just amazed that you all haven't figured this group out yet. Naked, booze, I mean, it's like everything they're into. It's just unbelievable.
Like, he's kind of acting loud and almost angry, but it's like, I can't believe you haven't figured this group out yet. There's really not a lot of emotion there. He's, gesticulating like there's emotion. I think it's the face. The face doesn't sell it for me. It just seems bored.
Okay,
Michelle and Kelly draw lingo balls, but do not get their lingo.
25. Here we go.
Though they are set up that if they get a 3 in the future, that will give them a lingo. Goes to commercial break, and when we come back, Chuck has an interview with the contestants.
Everybody going to find out a little bit more about our players, starting with Michelle here. How you doing, Michelle?
Fine, thank you. How
Tell
are
me more
you?
about you. I'm fine. Tell me more about yourself.
I'm from Richmond, Virginia, and I'm engaged to a wonderful man. We'll be getting married in July.
Oh, congratulations. Best wishes, actually. Congratulations to him, yeah. And where did you meet this guy?
Doing theater in Richmond.
Oh, so he's an actor.
Oh, yes.
Well, and you're an actress as well?
I do that as
There you
well.
go. See, there. That's just maiden heaven right there. Yeah. Well, welcome to L.A.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hi, Kelly. How are
Hi.
you? Tell me more about yourself.
I enjoy cooking, watching hockey, being
Hockey.
from Minnesota.
Yeah.
We got to watch hockey.
Yeah,
so
really? Do you have to? I mean, is it
Yeah.
like mandatory?
It absolutely is, and we've got a few professionals from my hometown, so we got to watch them,
There you
support
go.
them.
Okay. Well, it's nice to have you.
Yeah, thank
good luck
you.
to you. You guys are doing okay? 50 to zip? Sorry, Jeannie, did I mention
Hello,
that?
Zip.
Yeah. How are you, sweetie?
I'm great.
Tell me more about yourself.
As I said, I'm a stand-up comic. I like to make clothes for my pug, and
That would be your pug dog, I suppose?
yes,
Yeah.
and I'm a marathon runner.
Milo and Otis.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Did
right.
you love that movie?
Yeah.
You're a marathon runner?
Well, if you count running one marathon, yes, I've ran a marathon.
I count that. I've never run.
Chuck still, to me, doesn't seem all that interested in anything. And the only contestant I really have anything to say on is, once again, Amanda, who is just way too peppy for me. And, well, I can't really criticize her relationship with her husband, but I don't know. I don't know why, but I get this vibe that she is way more into him than he is into her. I don't know what exactly gives me that feeling, but that's kind of what I'm guessing here.
Yeah. How you doing, Amanda?
I'm good, Chuck. How are you?
Fine. You're making a lot of guys very nervous over there. You know that.
Really?
She starts off slow and then escalates. It's very interesting. So tell me more about yourself.
Well, as I said, I'm from New Orleans, and I just got
You're
married.
from all over New Orleans.
I
aren't
am
you?
from
Yes,
New
you are.
Orleans.
And you just got married?
I got married in February.
You did?
Yes, and he's a lawyer, and he's wonderful.
Oh, my gosh.
I love him to death. So.
Well, nice to have you all here.
Okay, once again, Michelle and Kelly start off. It's, once again, a 5-letter word, of course, and this one starts with a T. And I am going to guess trail, T-R-A-I-L. But they guessed tight. They didn't get anything from that. They, however, do mess up, so it goes back to Jeannie and Amanda.
And there is your bonus letter. Help you?
But, of course, it does go back to Michelle and Kelly, because that seems to be a thing in this one. They did not get it, and since that was the 5th guess, they it switches back off to Jeannie and Kelly. Jeannie and Amanda. And although Jeannie and Amanda do win this round, they immediately draw a red Lingo ball, and so it goes back to Michelle and Kelly. This time it's a 5-letter word, and I'm going to guess... I'm going to say movie, M-O-V-I-E. I mean, it doesn't matter what I say, because nobody's going to tell me what letters are or are not correct, but they guess mouse. And, of course, everybody can spell mouse.
M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E, Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse. Forever let us hold our banner high, 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 high.
Michelle and Kelly are actually able to get this one on their 3rd guess this month, and they, like I said, they're able to guess it. Unfortunately, Kelly here, she draws a red Lingo ball, so it goes back to Jeannie and Amanda. Unfortunately, though, they have to soon go after commercial, and this round is over. And Chuck Woolery does his 2-and-2 thing. I don't know what exactly that's about, but I know he did that on Love Connection, and I'm sure other game shows as well, not just this and Love Connection. When we come back, Jeannie and Amanda are to go first because they are not in the lead, but they take too long, and it switches back to Michelle and Kelly. Seriously, it's a pattern here. They are able to figure out that the word is frame, and when drawing their Lingo balls, they get a question mark, and they choose number 3, giving them a Lingo. Because Michelle and Kelly just got a Lingo, it goes back to Jeannie and Amanda, but, I mean, we know how this is gonna go. And the rest of the game just goes on more like this. So, eventually Michelle and Kelly are the winners, and this final round, they can win prizes up to $15,000 if they get a Lingo on their first go. Now, actually, they get to draw as many balls as words they figure out in this last round, and if they get a Lingo on their first try, they get a vacation package. If they get a Lingo after their first try, they get $5,000, which they do actually win that here. One thing to consider, though, $5,000, I mean, I know it's not the grand prize because they didn't get the vacation, but, I mean, let's be realistic. It was the prize they're going to get. the grand prize is a rarity. So really the grand prize, so to say, is really just the $5,000. To put that into context, though, that's the same amount of money that one could get in a round of match game, $5,000, or actually $5,600, but the one-on-one match, they could get up to $5,000. And I decided to look at what the inflation of that is, and here are the comparisons. And, here's the comparisons to today, of course. So I did not, all this time I've been watching Magic Game, I did not realize how much money they were getting. Like, I mean, I knew they got 5,000, or, well, not everybody does, of course. But, that's an outrageous amount. Alright, so that was Lingo. Was it as good as I remember? No, it's really not. I do remember a female co-host, though. So maybe she came in later and that's when the show kind of got better and therefore where I liked it. Is when I liked it, but this just didn't do anything for me. Chuck just kind of seems, again, he just seems like he's phoning this one in. And it's really, there's not a lot for me to comment on this one, really. Like, it's like, oh, it's going back and forth. Okay. And of course, the things I guess I can't prove how on track or off track they are, because I mean, I can tell you, I can find out what the final answer is, but I can't tell on my guess. It's not satisfying because it isn't progression for me. Like it would be fun to actually play this, and I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of online game like this, but I don't know. Just watching it, it just doesn't feel as fun. Honestly, this is probably my least favorite game show video I've done before because there's just not a lot to cover here. Yeah, it was nice to go back to something I watched a lot, but other than some nostalgia, there wasn't a lot here. I know I've kind of said that a lot of times now, that there's not a lot there, but that's how I feel. It's not that exciting of a game show. Maybe that's why Chuck doesn't seem that invested, because it's not that exciting of a game show, actually. Although Amanda, just how excited she's acting, one might, think differently, but yeah. But anyways, hey, thanks for watching, everyone. I'm not mentioning what I'm gonna do next week, because I really shouldn't do that, because that makes me like, okay, well, I have to do this now, because I said it. I mean, of course, I could always, whatever. It's just probably best that I don't say what I'm planning on next. I am planning on something for the next week, though, so, at least be comforted in that fact. But hey, thanks for watching, everyone. If you like this one, like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't like it, dislike it, whatever. I couldn't blame you. This one might have been a little boring. But hey, thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Remember that you are valid. Bye-bye.
You got the word. You go first this time. Pat, your number. No, G59, G49.